Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your May 2019 Astro Update. It's Raina here. I just asked Cancer for a favor, and I'm going to ask you too. This is the first day that I am using a new microphone as well as a new computer. And typically, I'm leery to use my computer for making recordings. I recently did so, I think it was last month, with some of these types of audios. And some of the people were saying that there was garbling and skipping. And so I, went back to using my phone. But I do feel that this is much more convenient, as well as I wanted a mic, an external mic. So if you would be so kind, if you actually listened to the whole recording, to let me know if there was any skipping. And I would even appreciate it if the coast was clear and there was no skipping. I'd appreciate that kind of feedback as well, if you would be willing to just say it was on point. Thank you very much. Okay, well, what kind of month is this for you? Well, let me tell you something. I can see two scenarios here, Scorpio. First of all, this could be a very important month for relationships of the more committed variety. Now, it's possible that if you are somebody who has been dating a person, hopefully for a little while, not just in the last month or so, that you or the other person, or maybe, I don't know if this ever happens simultaneously, will decide that you want to tie the knot. Okay. And there could be, if you want to look at domestic partnerships as the equivalent of a marriage, which I am in myself, and I don't see a difference whatsoever, except that I don't have to sign a contract, then that could be what's going on as well, is that you decide to cohabitate. The reason I'm saying marriage is simply because in some cases, you may be living together, and then perhaps you decide that you want to kind of, I was going to say make it permanent, but that's not, that you don't want to assume that if you're living together, that's somehow impermanent. But just that kind of tangible symbolism of a couple, which a marriage and a ring and all that stuff, ceremony represents. So this could be the time when you're doing it. Now, I notice a lot of people get married in June. So maybe, just maybe, some of you have already been planning a wedding, and this is like the heat of the moment with the marriage plans, and you're just consumed with it. So that's a possibility. And who knows? I mean, maybe it takes months to plan a wedding, so maybe you're planning for the fall. I will give you major props, Scorpio, if you are planning a wedding, if you choose July, August, or November. And I'll tell you why, because that's what people don't normally do. And I always think it's so cool when people are doing stuff outside of the mainstream. So that's kind of like where the focus is in that seventh house. But the other area that the seventh house represents is lawsuits, okay? And because we have some eighth house activity, actually at the time that the sun is in that seventh house, Mars is in Gemini, the eighth house, and Mars can be on a warpath. And this could be about shared resources. So this could either be like if you're getting divorced, you could be, it could be the War of the Roses, and you're just fighting over money, fighting over possessions, or a probate issue, and you're fighting over money. So keep that in mind, Scorpio, of like, what is the purpose of money, and what is rightfully yours. Because what I have found is that I'm not willing to degrade myself for money for any price. That's not worth it to me. And And also, and part of degrading oneself is lowering oneself to act in a way that is not worthy of you. So people sometimes become quite monstrous when money is at stake, and like hideous. So just a friendly reminder. And if other people are doing that maybe family members, for instance, you don't have to go down in the mud with them. So on the 4th, we have a new moon at 14 degrees of Taurus in that 7th house. So there could be some kind of resolution that is, it's funny, a resolution might even be when there's a full moon in the 7th house, legal resolution. But there might be like a new angle or path. This could relate to maybe even this is when you tie the knot. I don't know what day of the week the 4th is on. It might be a great day to get married. Definitely new beginnings with relationships. Maybe you've been estranged from a partner, and this is you getting back together with them in the month of May. And, or being legally separated. On the 6th, Mercury goes into Taurus, and wait for it, that 7th house again. So communication, contracts is Mercury. So in the 7th house, legal contracts, maybe that need to be signed about any number of things, as I have illustrated. And then on the 15th, we have Venus going into that 7th house. So that's good for like money. So for you, you might actually see some money from whatever has been going on here. And it's also good for harmony with relationships. So if you have been dealing with some kind of fractured committed partnership, Scorpio, this month may be the healing time for you when it comes to that relationship. And Mars goes into the 9th house in Cancer. Now, the 9th house has also been associated with the law, law. I don't know exactly how to describe the 9th house with the law. My feeling is that it is the laws themselves, whereas the 7th house is a courtroom action. So perhaps, just like we have the 9th house is like philosophies or the different religious dogma. It could be legal, the laws that are in each state, in each country, each jurisdiction. And maybe you are really getting involved with that, where you're trying to determine whether or not you have a case, like you're getting very active in uncovering the law for your particular situation. And maybe lawyers are associated with the 9th house. I don't know. Something along those lines. The 9th house is also, because it's a house of Sagittarius, to me it represents the truth. And you could be like a zealot for the truth. Maybe some people around you have been being very shady when it comes to money. And you are on a soapbox, like, how dare you? On the 18th, there is a full moon in your sign, Scorpio. So this is important because this is coming on the heels of all this other stuff. So you're really changing in May, Scorpio. You are letting go of something that maybe has been dragging you down. And this has to do with yourself. Maybe it's an attitude. Maybe it's a behavior. And you just want a fresh start. And if you have been, let's say you've been getting a divorce, you may feel like you're becoming a new person altogether. And what was that saying in the Bible where they say a new... Okay, I think I looked it up. Okay, this may be repeated in other books, but 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creature. The old things passed away, behold, new things have come. And, that was not meant to proselytize and, for anybody who is not a Christian. That I'm just reading the whole verse, okay? And so, yes, a new creature. And I do feel that there might be something along those lines for you going on here, Scorpio. And so you may feel in this month, it's kind of a weird thing. For some of you, this may feel very romantic and harmonious. But, with the 8th house being featured, that's your house. And the 8th house is pretty intense because, wait for it, you're pretty intense. So, like I said, we have the month beginning with Mars in that house, eventually going into the 9th house. But then on the 21st, the Sun and Mercury going into that 8th house. So the focus and your thoughts are on scorpionic things. And one of the features of the 8th house is transformation. So this is a theme for you right now. And there may be multiple reasons why that's occurring, why you feel the need to let go of something in order to embrace something else. And if you are getting hitched or moving in with somebody that you love deeply, you may have to let go of your story. You may have this great story about, when I say great, I mean a great sob story of having been betrayed, having been hurt before, and using that to justify being, rather leery of relationships, suspicious, withholding of your own deep emotions with that person, like, kind of being somebody else's confessor, but not willing to share of yourself that much emotionally. Whatever has been going on for you, you may have to let that go, because if you are getting married or moving in with somebody, Scorpio, you want to be emotionally available to them fully, not kind of like partially, in order to maintain control. Be willing to be vulnerable, and you will feel more self-empowered, because you won't be worried about what if they leave. You'll be like, well, they're a loss, I don't have to be afraid that I'm showing my vulnerability. Everybody has vulnerability. Some people just don't show it, but they might not ever have an authentic relationship. They may just have kind of like a rather fake relationship or a superficial relationship. So I think this is going to be an amazing month for you, Scorpio. I hope that some of this at least resonates with you. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Have a great month. Bye.